bring in former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. That was a pretty just vicious political screed.
It was, and you want to know why. I mean, remember, they wrote this speech, they practiced this speech, and what did they want to achieve by it? He wasn't speaking to the nation. What he was really doing is speaking to his party. This was more about a convention. I think he was worried about Democrats removing him for the nominee. That's why he came out. He tried to show every Democrat, you know, you got to be tougher, you got to be stronger. And all he did was look mean and angry. That doesn't bring him more votes, but he's really playing, worried that the Democrats would take him off the ticket, worried about what's going to happen in Chicago, and trying to solidify that instead of govern the nation.
What about saying that Trump is the enemy of the state? And he's FDR, and he was victorious against Hitler. He's Lincoln, victorious against the Confederacy. He's framing this as a military campaign. Yes. I mean, I don't think anybody sees it that way. They just see the economy stinks, and we need the old guy out. No, what is he thinking here?
There's three big issues. He's trying to distract from the border, the economy, and his foreign policy. And that's the tough part for him. So he wanted to distract, say, his predecessor how many times, blame him for stuff that wasn't even there. But he cannot move away from the only war that's happening in America is on our borders. These cartels are the ones that are the strong enemy out there. These cartels are the ones that bring in fentanyl, the #1 killer of our youth from 18 to 45. Our economy, he's complaining about these companies that can't put enough inside a bag because of his inflation that he created. So Americans are hurting more. And a foreign policy where he has war and America looking weaker, that we've had 5 embassies we had to evacuate under his rule. I mean, this is the challenge. He's trying to deflect, be angry so you can't question him. And somehow, to show that he stuttered through this speech, the #1 issue out there to Americans is his age and the border, the economy, and foreign policy. I think he failed on all of those last night. Just by the way he delivered it, he sounded almost like an angry old man, like, get that ball off my yard, no playing in the neighborhood.
Why don't you think he could say Laken Riley's name? It's not that hard. The name has been said countless times in the country over the last 2 weeks.
It shows that he hasn't put an issue to it, that he doesn't frame it. And remember what he said afterwards. It wasn't in the speech, that she was killed by an illegal, which made Nancy Pelosi upset, supposed to say undocumented. Right. No, this person was illegal. But the other part was, his next thing that he said was even more disturbing to me. Well, how many people are being killed by legal individuals? Well, you know what? This could have never happened. This lady would have been protected. She would be alive today if it wasn't for what he has done along the border. He did not want to take responsibility for it.
Kevin McCarthy, would you have been making faces in the back like the current speaker was the whole time?
Look, that's a tough place to be in.
That's a tough spot.
It's a tough place to hold, to be able to look through. And it's also even harder to hear back there because he mumbles and the volume goes out within the speakers, where the speakers in the auditorium are at. So it's not an easy job to be sitting behind him.
No, and you also have to sit next to Kamala, so it takes everything you got. Kevin McCarthy, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.